Now to electoral matters, the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) has expressed concerns over the forthcoming general elections due to the rise in threats of insecurity, warning that the forthcoming polls face threat of cancellation if the level of insecurity across the country continues. INEC Chairman Mahmood Yakubu, who was represented by the Chairman Board of Electoral Institute Abdullahi Abduzuru, also warned that a cancellation and or postponement of elections in sufficient constituencies due to the prevailing security situation in the areas may not only hinder the declaration of election results but also precipitate a constitutional crisis. However, Yakubu pointed out that the Commission was doing everything possible to ensure that adequate security was provided for election personnel, materials and processes. Meanwhile, reacting to INEC's statement, the federal government has ruled out the possibility of the forthcoming elections being cancelled or postponed due to insecurity. Minister of Information and Culture Lai Mohammed, who spoke on the matter on Tuesday at the 17th edition of the President Muhammadu Buhari Administration Scorecard Series 2015 to 2023 in Abuja, said there is no cause for alarm as all hands are on deck to ensure peaceful and credible conduct of the polls. To speak more on this, Professor Simeon Nnah, Public Affairs Analyst, joins me now on the news. Thank you very much for joining me. If you can hear me, the spate of attacks on INEC facilities has been a source of concern to many Nigerians, and generally insecurity is also on the rise. But with the statement from the electoral body, do you agree with some Nigerians that the elections should be postponed?
Well, this is not the first time elections have been postponed. I remember in 2015, the state of insurgency was so much that the head of state at that time had to postpone the election for about 2 weeks. And within the 2 weeks, the Boko Haram, or whatever their names were called then, was decimated. So what we need in 2023 is a fair, free, credible elections. Now, if we are going to get that, and a peaceful one at that matter, if we are going to get that with maybe a 2 or a 3 week postponement, I'm not worried about that, because it's better to be late than never. Now, if we go into this election with a state of destruction of INEC properties and the bandits and the Boko Haram and the SWAP threatening in the north, I don't think some of the local governments will have it or will have the election as it's supposed to be. And that's the worry of INEC, that the election might not go around all the local governments. Remember, I mentioned 2015. In 2015, we had the election in 774 local governments. Now, if the government is assuring us that the elections we hold in the 774 local governments, it will be peaceful, it will be credible, then it will be free and fair. They can go ahead with that election. But if they feel at any point in time that these things will not come the way we want it, because if we get it wrong in 2023, Nigeria might not have it good again. This government has tried by giving us Electoral Act. We expect that the head of state has promised that he's going to give us a parting shot with a credible election. So he should live up to expectations. Let us walk the talk this time around and be sure that these elections will come, it will be credible, it will be free, it will be fair. Thank you very much.
Now, if you can hear me, the federal government has said the elections will be held despite INEC's outcry. Now, away from the insecurity issues, do you think the federal government has made the right decision, and will postponing the elections help INEC to better prepare for the polls?
Well, you see, they have more of the security reports than any of us. Now, if they are saying that these elections can go on and it will be free and fair, well, so well and good. But don't forget that these INEC offices that they are burning here and there, INEC materials are being burned. It means INEC will go back to the drawing board to print those materials. They promised us earlier. The INEC chairman has been up and doing. He promised earlier that if the state of attacks in their facilities stop on or before December, that they will be able to cope. But look at the state of insurgency is still on. You just read in the news now, the people that were kidnapped in the other day, that's part of the insecurity we are talking about. So if government is going to assure and ensure that these things will not happen on the day of the election, the presidential election, that's the most important. Of them all, the presidential election is the most important because we get it wrong in 2023. I'm afraid there will be serious problem in this country.
Well, all right. Now, Professor Simeon, Nnah Public Affairs Analyst, thank you for your time and your contribution.